Oh, hello, guys, and apologies for the lack of content. There's just not been a lot happening in my life in terms of technology, as I am in the process of selling my house and just work and what have you. So, anyway, new bit of hardware for you guys. Now, this isn't for me, this is actually for my stepbrother. And the long and short of it is the stepdad was looking for a nice computer for his son, and he's had a Windows machine. He's got a Dell Studio 1737, which is clocking on a bit. It's Vista kind of area, so it is getting on a bit. And for what he wanted to do, it was okay, but it was definitely starting to show its age. And being 10 years old, having to try and educate him about what you downloaded and make sure you untick boxes because it'll just download bloatware and etc, etc. And the long and short of it is, after a lot of reviewing of what content he actually does and what he actually wants to do with it, being an old sales rep from a PC World, which is a computer company here in the UK, I recommended a Chromebook. And there's many reasons why I recommended a Chromebook, but in a nutshell, for what he wanted to do, which was surf YouTube and homework, which a lot of it is based online now, this is a cracking bit of kit for what he wants to do. Very low maintenance, pretty much none. The hardest bit is setting it up, pretty much getting all the parental controls in place. But the rest of it then looks after itself. It's obviously all Google account based, so everything he does is online, nice and secure, and he can see it on his Android phone. And they're just, for a parent, very maintenance free, which is what a lot of parents would like. And for what he wants to do, he's going to be ideal. And for years to come, this machine will see him pro because it just looks after itself. I was very fortunate enough to go to a Google Chromebook launch, which was here in the United Kingdom. It was actually based at Aston Villa's football ground, which is called Villa Park. And I was actually part of the Google team in our store. So I am quite a big fan of these, but I haven't seen them for a couple of years, as I left Dixon's about 4 years ago. But anyway, this is what we've bought. So after going to the store itself, and there was about 5 Chromebooks on display at the time, this is the one we came to. It was in the price range that my stepdad wanted to spend, so this actually coming at £200. It was actually on a promotion of £50 off, so actually it was a really decent little buy. And Chromebooks really are very much all similar in the specs. You got different vendors. You got Dell, you got Lenovo, which are all kind of in the education sector. You've got Asus, Acer, and when I originally had one, Samsung had one. I'm not sure whether they have now, and they all come in different variants. You've got Google's own, called the Google Pixel, which is a ridiculously high-end Chromebook for what you want. So vendor-wise, pretty consistent. But spec-wise, when you look at them, they are all very similar. They all have a low, in the grand scheme of things, they do have a low-powered CPU, typically a Celeron Pentium if you're pushing it, 2 gigs or 4 gigs of RAM, and then a very small amount of storage, so 32 or 64. Again, and that's really because 80% of what you want is actually stored in your Google Drive, which is obviously online, so you don't need a great deal with these. But we're going to have a look around it now, so let's flip the box over. Now for my low budget production, I'm just going to cover the serial number, just for my stepdad's protection really, and various reasons. But this is what we got. So it says obviously Chromebook 14, that's its little nickname model, and then you've got the actual, it's in silver, part number is there, the European article number is there, so if you want to have a look on Amazon, this is what you can put in, or any other website, and it'll be Google and it'll search. And this is what we got. So obviously operating system, comes with Google Chrome operating system. It's got the Intel Celeron processor, N3060. Now when I was there, obviously doing a bit of comparison on the spec, because you obviously want to get the best spec for your money, all have the same processor. So like I said, they are all very similar, because Google Chrome doesn't need a lot, it really doesn't. It's got a 14-inch HD Acer Comfort View LCD. Probably only HD really, but I've not actually fully checked out the spec. Obviously Intel HD graphics, 2 GB of memory, and eMMC 32 GB. Obviously there is a little asterisk next to it. That's because it's just going to tell you won't necessarily get 32. as obviously some of it will be reserved for the operating system. There is no optical drive, Bluetooth, and obviously Wi-Fi. We've got the latest standard, which is obviously 8011 AC, and obviously Bluetooth. Not sure whether it's 4.0, I doubt it, but again, for what he needs, it's absolutely fine. Quite impressed, to be honest. It has got the AC. I was expecting just wireless N. I have a Ubiquiti router in the household, so that'll utilise the AC just fine. Obviously there is no LAN interface. It has got a HD camera with wide angle, so you can now use Skype, and also obviously you've got Google Hangouts or Google Duo. And it's just a 3-cell lithium polymer battery. This gets 12 hours battery life. Obviously it's going to vary on what he's doing at the time, so if he's just doing spreadsheet, probably will achieve that at half brightness, but obviously YouTube, a bit more intense, obviously it's having to work a bit harder for the videos there. So I'm going to lay the box down and we're going to actually unbox it properly now. So enough of me talking and let's dive in. Okay, so for the purpose of the video, so I have already broken the seal, and the reason why, and it's some advice I have given in my past videos, is if you go out and buy a machine, just before you leave the car park, just have a quick glance over the machine, make sure the screen's not broken or it's not defective. Just because I actually worked obviously in computer retailing, it's very difficult to return something if the screen is smashed and you've taken it home and you've not returned for a couple of days, as it's very rare for screens to smash in, you know, transit or in general, and a lot of the time obviously they won't return it if it's smashed because it's damaged goods. So that is why I checked it. Now one quick thing I will mention, normally when you buy a laptop or a phone or a tablet, anything with a battery in it, it will normally be pre-charged, to be fair, because that's one thing I wanted to make sure it's not DOA, dead on arrival. So I did fire it up and actually got nothing, and I won't lie, that did bug me all the way home until we got to a PowerPoint, but it is fully working because that is the one thing I wanted to check. It's very unusual, but there we go, that's Acer. So obviously you just pull this tab right here, and this is what we're going to get. So just going to make sure we can get everything in view. So good camera angle there, cool. So I am on a table in a nice bright room, so hopefully you can see everything we need to see. So you're going to get various things in the box, but basically you're going to get a couple of declarations which we won't bother reading. Acer offers, so this will be on laptop bags, Acer mice, stuff like that, so again, not really needed. And there's the Acer Chromebook 14 setup guide. It's going to tell you the real basics, which is where to plug it in, how to fire it up, setting up a Chromebook, and getting to know your desktop. Now, as I am already, I've used these before, and it is very straightforward. And obviously then, these are really good, because I think unless you're properly educated and the sales advisor actually knows what he's talking about, it can be a little daunting when you get these, because obviously people are used to Windows or a Macintosh, and then, you know, there are very set things. You buy a Windows laptop, don't come with it. It comes with a very, very basic word processor. If you want anything else, you either get Microsoft Office or you go down those alternative routes. This, it comes all built in, you've just got to know how to use it, and I'm glad now Google obviously probably chipped in as well on this, and it lets you know how you can view things, so create documents, spreadsheets, and the slides. So obviously this is called Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. Chat with people, and obviously a couple of shortcuts. This is great because a lot of people, it throws a lot of people, including myself, unless you know it or you do your research, you wouldn't know necessarily how to do it. Because some of the basic things like a capital locks key, you don't have. So the fact they include that is fantastic. So toggle caps lock is Alt and the search icon, which we will show you the QWERTY keyboard in just a mo. So zooming back out so you can get a view, that's really good to use. So nice that they include that. Obviously we've got the laptop itself, and obviously we're going to have the power brick here. So it's probably going to be a very standard power brick. Yeah, so I'm just going to take it out of the bag, guys. Obviously it does come in a sealed plastic bag. It's a very small charger, as you would expect. It's not got a, you know, an Intel Core i7, so we're not expecting miracles. So we can just see then output 19 volt, 2.37 amp, and that's 45 watts. So nice and small charger, and there is the end. Obviously, if we put it against my hand, it's actually a very, very small barrel, which is, I'm obviously not used to as being a Mac man. We obviously have USB-C now, so it's It's cool that they still use that. I'm surprised not everything's gone to USB-C yet. And obviously we've got the clover leaf there, UK mains. So let's put those boring bits aside and let's get to the main attraction. So obviously here is a sheet, shows you the serial number, and yeah, right. So obviously we've got these cartons here. This keeps the laptop suspended, so if something was to impact the box, it is less likely to cause any significant damage. So let's flip it around so you can actually, it's a bit more orientated for you guys at home. Now, I will tell you, by feeling it, it is metal. I can tell just by the temperature it's kind of giving off. Plastic don't give that kind of effect, so it's really well built. You can tell by tapping it as well, so it feels really cool. Obviously, you've got the Chrome logo there, so that is the quickest way to distinguish whether it is a Chromebook. Every Chromebook will have that on the back of the lid. I think it's one of those requirements they have to adhere by. So nothing too exciting on the back, just obviously it's got the logo and the vendor's logo. Looking around there, this is where we start to get interesting. So we've got two LEDs on the right here. Now I never get why we have LEDs on the right. It reminds me of Dell, they used to do that. So obviously we've got one when it's powered on and one when the battery is charging. We've got a 3.5mm aux in, so obviously you can pop your headphones in and away you go. It's got a microphone on it as well, so that will kind of indicate you can plug a microphone in. And here is the small barreled power inlet. Obviously going down, it does almost look like a MacBook Air if you didn't know what I was actually reviewing, but there we go. Nice design. Again, not a lot in it. Flipping it over, we've got some more full-size ports. You've got a Kensington lock here. Two full-size USB-A, USB 3.0, and you can tell that just by looking at the colour. Blue would indicate it's the latest one, which everything released will have that now. And obviously a full-size HDMI. On the bottom, just going to zoom out for you guys. We'll just have a quick look on the bottom. But in a nutshell, you've obviously got your feet, which keep it suspended. These grills here house your downward facing speakers. And obviously on here you've just got your serial number and obviously different logos representing different things. And then obviously you've got lots of screws here, which I'm not going to open it up because that would be, don't want to avoid the warranty. I don't think it would by the look of it, but better safe than sorry. That's all it is. There's nothing on the front, nothing on the back. And then let's fire it up. I'm going to open it up now. I won't show you the start up now. I'm just going to fire it down so you can see the keyboard. And then I will walk you through the setup process of the Chromebook. So opening it up, boom. So you've obviously got a sheet here just to keep it nice and clean. And as you can see, it's got a slightly different keyboard to the rest of the machines you would necessarily buy. You've got a nice sized trackpad. There is no line to separate the keys. It's all one big trackpad, a bit like a Mac. Down here, we're just going to zoom in here and then we'll have a quick look at what this sticker shows you. So obviously Chromebook 14, there is the official model, which is the CB3431. All metal chassis, so there we go, confirmation that it is indeed metal, which is awesome. Didn't expect that at this kind of price range, but that's great. Up to 14-hour battery life, so again it's up to because it's optimal conditions and it really depends on what you're doing. Ultra thin, again it is. Up to 3 times faster Wi-Fi with the 802.11.AC, which is correct. It is the fastest standard on the market. And obviously a wide field of view on the webcam. Now obviously we'll try and get a confirmation of that by having a look. So back to the keyboard. I'll just quickly show you some of the keys. As I say, for Windows users and Mac users, it is a slightly odd keyboard, but that's fine. It is just for Chromebook. Now all Chromebooks will have the same keyboard, give or take. Obviously if it's a smaller unit, it will obviously a small footprint, but they are exactly the same. Everything looks very similar. So obviously we've got the QWERTY. The differences come to here. So there is no capital locks button. You have a search button instead. But obviously to get the caps lock, you would do Shift and Alt, and it will let you know that you've got cap locks on. On the top, obviously we've got some different function keys. Escape, backwards and forwards. So that's for backwards on web pages. You've got this little refresh button there, so that's all your F5 equivalent. Here we have a full screen, so that's if you're obviously you want to full screen your browser.
Here presses that, kind of gives you what we call in mission control on Mac, which is shows you what's running on the system. These two are icons, they look like the sun, so that's obviously your screen brightness there. We've obviously got your standard mute, volume down, volume up, and power. Now you don't actually have to use the power a lot. The only time you would use power is if you want to shut it down, seeing it yourself, or you can simply just close the lid and it will shut itself down. And you don't need to turn it on when you open the lid, because when you open the lid, there is magnets, and it automatically knows when to fire the system on. So as soon as you open the lid, the system will start for you, and you will be on in seconds. So that's a look at the initial unit itself. We are now going to have a look at the setup process. So I'm going to adjust my camera to try and get you a nice angle. Now thankfully this unit has a matte screen, so we shouldn't be suffering with reflection. Okay guys, so obviously please do ignore the trousers behind the table here. So I'm going to show you what actually happens when you open the Chromebook. Now this is a brand new unit. I've not actually even set it up. I've checked it over, which I've obviously informed you about earlier in the video, but I've not set this up yet because it's not mine. So this is what your out of the box experience is going to be like, and that's what it's officially called, an Ubi out of box experience. So this is the setup process. So this is what we get. So I'm going to zoom in on the screen. Obviously this is the most important bit. There we go, got a fancy little noise there. Now there might be a bit of flickering just because of the frame rate, unfortunately, which this camera records at. Obviously matches what the screen records at, but that's fine, we can live with that. So what we got, so pretty standard stuff. It's going to be like your language, etc, etc. So let's just get that level, there we go. Right, so obviously I'm going to turn the brightness up there. English, United Kingdom, UK, network. Obviously it's going to show you all the Wi-Fi in your area. I'm going to just connect it to mine. We're then going to just go connect to that one. I'm going to press obviously continue. Now obviously there's going to be lots of terms and conditions. Please do, if you want to obviously read that, you carry on. Optional, I'm obviously going to just opt out of that for easiness. Continue. Very quickly there, now it is split second, it did just say checking for update to make sure your Chromebook is up to the latest version. Obviously it must have been quite freshly produced. So this is where it gets interesting. So this is where you would sign into your Google account. Now at the bottom, I will just zoom out to point this out. There is browser's guest, which if we just quickly do, will allow you to get onto the Chromebook without having a Google account. Now, if you're having this as a full-time unit, I would highly recommend that you do that. Highly recommend you create a Google account because it just makes so much more sense. All your stuff's kept together. Obviously, you can browse as a guest all the time, but it would be quite silly to do that. Because the whole purpose of this is all your stuff would be there. You would sign in once. All you'd have to do is put your password in like you would with any other unit. Obviously apart from a Mac where you can put your fingerprint on, but anyway. So you can, if somebody wanted to say, great thing, this is a great user scenario, is if you have a friend round and they want to have a go on their Facebook, anything like that, you can go, hey, you know what, no problem, hit the guest mode, and basically pages that you view on this window won't appear in the browser history and they won't leave other traces, because once you log out of the guest account, it just wipes it. So I think that's a really good feature. I wish my Mac had that. I'm very private about stuff like that. I don't normally I do have a guest mode on my Mac, but it's just a user account. So for the purpose of this, I am actually going to log in. Oh, there we go. So that is now correct. It's going to obviously send me a code on my phone, which is just behind me. There we go. So with the two-step, or it's going to ask me to put a code in. And then there we go. So if I'm honest, nothing. Well, there'll be a little bit what loads, but when I used to have a Chromebook, I always used my latest one. But this is actually my YouTube account. So there's the picture. It's allocated. I have got different ones. So there's actually a personal photo of mine. But I can use anything I want, so just for the purpose we use a penguin.
And then boom, we're in. So straight away, hi Danny, welcome to the Chrome family. This is no ordinary computer. The Chrome device is designed to deliver the best experience of the web to you. You can take a tour. For this video, I will show you a quick tour. So it's going to show us around what's happening. So play it gets done. Hassle-free goodness. So I will show you my own one now. So this is where it is. So bottom left is like where your start icon is. It's your launcher. It's got YouTube, Gmail, Google Maps, all apps. So a lot of them are obviously Google related. If you don't want it, it's there. And on the far right is where your kind of all your areas for connecting to stuff and doing stuff like that. So zoom in over here and see what we've got. So obviously the top one is your account, so it tells you your account. You've got your wireless. If you wanted to connect to another one, that's fine. If you wanted to connect it to a private one, you press join other, and then it will ask you for the SSID, security and password. So that's for people like a lot of corporate people will hide their network, so it's not discoverable, but it is actually there. You have to just put the details in manually because it's on a no-show. Also, we've obviously got Bluetooth, sound, battery life. So here, it will tell you obviously the percentage of the battery and how much it's estimating currently it's got left. So that's fine. And then we go on to settings. And this is where it gets, for some people will look a bit strange, but if you're not used to Google, this is what it looks like. So this looks just like as if you was going in your settings on Google Chrome. For a lot of places, yes, you can add proxies, appearance, all those good things you can change, like the trackpad, keyboard settings, shortcuts, people, and then advanced settings, date, time, content settings. You can obviously enable Bluetooth. And loads of different things are there. And you know, if you get one of these, obviously I would encourage you to look through all the various settings. Accessibility, you've got a whole host of things you can do there. I'm going to just give you one last thing, is how to recover a Chromebook. So if you were to sell it, or you feel it's not for you, and you decided, you know what, I need to return this, but obviously I don't want any of my details there. There's nothing stored on the unit unless you tell it to. If you were to send this back, they would do this for you anyway, but any details there would be your login, so your email account, which I've happily shown with you guys. If you don't want any of that, you can do recover all your user account and settings. So there's two here. You can reset settings, and this will tell you about, it basically resets your Google settings to an extent. So it'll tell you reset your start page, new tab page, search engines, pin tabs, all those will disappear. All your extensions will disappear. This basically resets your Google account to a great extent. So if you've got loads of things like you've got set extensions, that's fine. A power wash is what you want. So this will actually reset the whole unit. So if I've stored stuff locally on this machine, it gets rid of that, resets all the accounts I've ever signed in on here. So this is what I'm going to do. And that way then my step brother will not know that I've been on here without his permission and done this fantastic unboxing and education tour for you. So it will restart itself, so we're going to press restart. Obviously I don't need to leave my details on there because I don't need it. I can log in on my Mac, which is just behind me. It'll reset itself and it'll basically just tell you, are you sure you want to do this, and tell you what's involved. And then we'll do it itself. So reset this Chromebook. Power wash to reset your Chromebook will just be like new. All user accounts, local data will be removed. That's fine. We can obviously then press power wash and away we go. But just before that, I'm just going to quickly show you the webcam. When you click power wash, which we will come back to in just a second, it will just basically power wash. It will then reset and be like new. And then I will return this laptop back to its rightful owner. So we're going to just jump on the webcam itself. Now, there should hopefully be an app on here which will allow me to do that. But if not, there is websites which you can go on which will do that for you. So I haven't got anything which will let me do it, as I don't have Google Duo installed. So that's fine. We're going to go on a website called Test My Cam. It's completely free to use. And as it says, it's going to test your webcam. So you obviously have to allow access, and you are now going to see me. At the top, it'll just say use your webcam and microphone. Press allow, and then the light will come up above, and then you can see me. So it is quite wide. Obviously, you can see I'm in an attic room. You can see behind me. Obviously, you can see the Sony AX50 III there. So it is pretty wide, to be fair. It's not too bad. Pretty good camera by the look of it. Obviously, I can't see the quality from here, but just looking at it, looks pretty sharp. Nice HD picture. And guys, that has been a look at the Chromebook. Great piece of kit. Highly recommended. Depending on what you want to do. So if you've got any questions, or if there's some parents watching this video, thank you very much for a start, and you want some advice, then drop me a comment, and I'm more than happy to obviously walk you through that, because I have got quite a lot of experience and knowledge with these Chromebooks. I know they're very simple, but they are still quite a decent investment for a lot of people. £200 is still a lot of money. So please do give me a shout if you want to. But one of the biggest questions I used to get asked is, can I create, edit Microsoft Word documents? And the answer is yes, you can. Google Docs can create the document on there, and then it will then can export as the latest document version, which is DocX. So it is quite compatible. So we're going to hit power wash. This is just a quick continuation of what will happen if you want to reset it. And it's going to say this device will reset. Fine. Reset. That's fine. And now it'll just kind of go into the back end of the system and begin the reset process. And there you go, power wash in progress. Power wash happens when critical errors are detected, or when you choose to reset your device. This will reset Chrome OS to be like new, and you'll be back in operation in just a minute. So guys, it is honestly, these are really good, great, low maintenance devices. If you want a nice simple device, then please, this is the one you need to go on. So as I say, I'm going to wrap this up now. As you can see, the power wash is now done. Any questions, guys, please do not be scared to hit me up on the comments here, or hit me on Twitter, anything you want, because there's loads of different models out there, and I'll give you the best advice that I can with the knowledge that I have. So there we go, back to the out-of-box experience. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, thank you very much.